Are Necrotects any good in patch 5.2? This is almost funny. No, it is funny. Some brilliant guy at CA decided to make the Cathay Terracotta Sentinel a construct, but Cathay doesn't have Necrotects to boost them. That's such a shame. Psst, Zao, I'll take 2 off your hands for all these bags of spikes. Trust me, I'll make very good use out of them. But anyway, are they good? Yes, but they're also prime enemy targets, so use with care. Recruited from painful capacity increases, the Necrotect on Ultra comes with 3,788 health, considerably less than the Tomb Prince. Armor is 55, much squishier. Missile resistance 15, fire resistance minus 15. Leadership starts at 65, speed 31, charge speed 41. Melee attack starts at 45, with an attack interval of 4 and a small splash target size, so he only splashes infantry. Max entities damage this way is 6. Melee defense starts at 30, so already we see a much squishier hero, albeit one able to crack the whip against infantry. Yes, that was a pun. Weapon strength is 360, split between base 240 and armor piercing 120, with a bonus versus infantry of 20. I mean, these are very clean, orthodox stats, so we understand how he's meant to be used. Charge bonus is only 20, and mass is 600. The Necrotext causes fear, has standard undead features, and that's pretty much it. For now. On a skeleton chariot, the Necrotect rises to 4,848 health, like there's some numerology thing going on here. Armor is 80, speed 74, charge speed 103, melee attack plunges to 28, but splash target size is now very large, and max targets damaged in pitched melee is 4. Melee defense slips to 24, and weapon strength slides to 350, split between 230 base and 120 armor piercing, but bonus versus infantry shoots up to 28. Charge bonus is now a hefty 75, and mass is 1100. No special sauce. Not yet. As an embedded hero, the Necrotect brings increased mobility, something some factions have a lot of difficulty getting, and it's always welcome in difficult terrain. Boost income is the passive, which is interesting because of the limitations on the Tomb King's economy. For agent actions, they're radically different from the Tomb Prince, and come as damage walls, possibly very valuable, wound and block army. Specialist reduces the cost of these actions, but wait. Hiding on the right is Canopic Jar Hoarder, passively giving up to +3 jars to you per turn. These things are as valuable as Oath Gold. Well, more like they're used similarly to Oath Gold, so you want them. It's not a bad policy to just put 3 pips into this with every hero, because in the long run, it matters. It's your call though. The funny thing is, despite being much squishier than a Tomb Prince, the yellow line here is exactly the same as one, so let's go over this briefly. Indomitable Will adds +4 leadership and +5 charge bonus with 1 pip, which is future-proofing the Necrotect, making him very hard to shake. Conqueror adds +8 melee attack, and +10% weapon strength at 2 pips. Blade Master adds another +12 melee attack at 3 pips. Hard to Hit adds +12 melee defense at 3 pips. And Indomitable adds leadership +12 at 3 pips. Tomb Strike is a self-buff for 1 pip. Rather than Foe Seeker, this gives you 30% extra base damage, as in not armor piercing, grants +24 melee attack to the hero, and enables him to cause terror even without other skills to that effect. Interesting, I must say. 90-second cooldown, 23-second duration. Wound Maker is a welcome injection of +20% weapon strength at 3 pips, full plate armor adds +15 armor at 3 pips, Devastating Charge grants +30% charge bonus for 3 pips, and Over My Dead Body is an interesting buff, granting +6% health and +8% speed at 2 pips, with the speed bonus being at the first pip. Finally, Desert Strike is a massive boost over Tomb Strike. 120-second cooldown, causes terror, +40 melee attack and +60% bonus base damage, and base damage only. 23 seconds duration again. This means that despite the relative squishiness, the Necrotect is a very good foot character assassin. In spurts. That might not actually come up much, but hey, it's there. It's not like this hurts your performance against massed infantry. In the top line, Ceremonial Bandages available at rank 8 grants 15% more missile resistance. I see no sign of the special Embalming one to remove negative fire resistance, so be warned. At rank 12, Trapped Soul grants 15% spell resistance and causes the Necrotect to inflict terror, which is an interesting by-the-backdoor source. Now, right from rank 2, you can choose any of the second line skills, and they are not mutually exclusive. Restore grants 2 uses of the namesake ability, giving 24 seconds of 0.8% heal to an allied construct unit, and only a construct unit. It doesn't restore destroyed models. So basically the best use is on the biggest, highest HP construct you have, all things being equal. Stone Shaper provides the namesake passive, providing plus 15 armor and 10% missile resistance to friendly constructs in a 35-meter radius. When you see low stats for the constructs, remember this hero exists. Wrath of the Creator provides the namesake passive, granting plus 5 melee attack and plus 6% armor piercing damage to constructs in a 35-meter radius. When you see, ditto what I said above, yeah. On a serious note, I've tested this in battle to see if these auras are cumulative, but despite being passive and not active abilities, they are not cumulative. A construct inside the effective radius of 2 Necrotects will not see the benefit doubled. That might not be true for the increased mobility benefit, but it needs to be kept in mind for an army. Of course, 2 Necrotects also means you can apply these bonuses on 2 fronts at once. At rank 10, you begin the professional line for the Necrotects, and here's where you have the really hard decisions. Inscription of Repair is the easy part. It's an 8% casualty replenishment over end turn boost for constructs only, meaning you can heal them more easily than skeletons between battles. Now, the next 3 abilities are mutually exclusive for 1 pick. Guardian Gargantua provides plus 1 unit capacity for Sepulchral Stalkers, Necropolis Knights, and Necropolis Knights with Halberds. This means that if you have the means to recruit them at all, that's 3 advanced units you can add to your forces from 1 pip, costing only space and recruitment time. The Scorpion Sting adds plus 2 unit capacity for Tomb Scorpions only. I mean, they have their limits, but they're also super strong against infantry, and more is better. Statuesque Sentinels adds plus 1 to Ushabti and Ushabti with Great Bow's capacity. If you're mass-producing the Great Bows best you can, this only adds to it, and the Ushabti melee are just bonus at that point. Note that these increases are worldwide. The Necrotect doesn't need to be anywhere specific, just unwounded. Master Builder grants construction cost minus 10% for all buildings, and Tomb King's ones get expensive, and construction time minus 1 for province and capital settlement buildings is always good. Although this does apply when he's in the area. The next 3 are also mutually exclusive. They're not exactly hard to understand. Master Necrosphinx Sculptor adds plus 1 to Necrosphinx availability. The other 2 apply to Kemrian Warsphinx and the least favored by YouTube, Pyrotitans. So, get plus 1 of the one you prefer, and I hope you have the building for it. Now, in terms of battle, how you use the Necrotect is not very complex, but being much squishier than some of the constructs he aids, ideally you want to take some care as to what you inflict him upon. You want to be close enough to use the passive buffs, and otherwise, well, it's either finding squishy mages to slaughter, or hitting other squishy things like archer lines. This is not an armor-piercing hero. You need to let him rely on the constructs for dealing with that and giving them space by whipping the enemy infantry out of line. It's not complicated, but it's also your only sane option. Constructs can drown in infantry. The more space they have to work with, the better off they'll be, and when you're in tight quarters in a siege, a Necrotect alongside a Tomb Prince is a lot less squishy, and does a lot more for clearing space for your units to operate in. The Restore skill has big limits, and you cannot rely on it, so just pick the best spots you can, and live with the consequences so much as an animated hero lives. Basically, respect your limits, make the most of your passive skills, and now a brief word about traits. Traits include Wise, plus 1 recruit rank and plus 2 passively generated canopic jars per turn. Scorpion Carver increases plus 2 to Tomb Scorpion capacity just from the trait. Serpent Carver grants plus 2 to Sepulchral Stalker capacity, and you can't even get plus 2 to them in his skill tree. Wrathful grants permanent plus 10 bonus versus infantry. Even without getting into craftable items and ancillaries, you can do a lot of good just by being judicious about traits, and that means you have a lot more flexibility than you initially think you do. So go and explore and adopt a Necrotect today. Your Warsphinx will thank you. Take care, and have fun cracking that whip.